So thought I'd give everyone a kind of little bit of a background about Zenith Fit, about myself and how I got to where I am and why I do what I actually do. So my name's Mark. I run a company called Zenith Fit, and Zenith Fit's been going for around about 6 or 7 years, and it's just basically built from the ground up. I qualified as a personal trainer back in 2014, March 2014, and the next week decided to start Zenith Fit Limited, and that's basically how it all began. I got into personal training, or I got into a passion for personal training and fitness because of the kind of things I've been through myself in the past. So when I was a teenager, we'll start from the top. When I was a teenager, I was carrying a bit of body fat, and when you're a teenager, you know the drill, you know how it is. It can be very frustrating, you can get taken the mickey out of, and your confidence can sink to an all-time low. And there was times when I was a teen that I was like, this isn't good, you know, I'm really, really struggling. I was at a very low point. I was so uncomfortable with how I looked and how I fitted into my clothes. And it got to the point where I was borderline depressed. I can't say if I was depressed or not, but I was borderline depressed. And obviously this is not a good place to be. So I decided to do something about it. I was trying to be an aspiring professional football player at the time. And I was like, right, if I'm going to make a go of this, if I'm going to actually get to somewhere, then I'm going to have to do something about my weight and my confidence. And more than anything, my confidence was the biggest issue, because yes, we can look at something like that and think, right, he has to lose weight and then everything else will come. But confidence was the main problem I had here, and being confident in an environment, in a changing room, or if I was just out and about in a t-shirt that seemed a bit too tight, or the wind was blowing in a direction and it made your t-shirt really stick to you. You know, those kind of things. They sound daft, but that's kind of the emotions you go through if your confidence is very low and you're not comfortable in your clothing. So I decided to do something about it. Now, the thing about me deciding to do this, I'm the kind of character that when I do something, I go for it fully. And in this case, this wasn't the best idea because I didn't have anyone to guide me through it. So I read things like Men's Health, which I know the majority of stuff in Men's Health isn't actually much sense or much use to people nowadays, but I was reading articles in Men's Health, I was following things. The internet wasn't really a massive thing right back then. I didn't have a smartphone, anything like that. But I was just of the impression I was eating too much food. So how do you lose body fat? Then just stop eating food. So I did, and I stopped eating food pretty much completely. On top of that, I started exercising like a maniac. I was running, and that was my kind of way. That's all I knew. I knew if you wanted to lose body fat, you have to stop eating food and exercise like a maniac. That's what I thought I knew at the time. And that's because I had no guidance or no one to show me the way. So I did this, and my eating, my nutrition went down the pan completely, to the point where I had an eating disorder. I wasn't eating food. I was hiding food from my parents. I was throwing food away. And if you've been in a similar scenario to this, then you'll understand completely why I was doing this. It was because I wasn't so much ashamed of what I was doing, but I knew if someone found out what I was doing, they would tell me it was wrong. But in my head, it was working for me. And I did lose a lot of body fat to the point where I become dangerously underweight. And this was coupled with the fact I was creating a massive amount of stress on my body through the amount of exercise I was doing. I was running. I got to a point where I was running 4-minute miles. I mean, that is quick, you know, but I weighed literally nothing. So I was thrashing these 4-minute miles, and it was just a case of I'd become exhausted. I had no food in my body. I was training like a maniac 7 days a week, and I got to a point where I almost had a bit of a breakdown. I was really struggling mentally, and this has come from a point where I was struggling with my confidence, but I've got to a point where I'm even worse in an emotional state. And I think a lot of people go through this. They think, right, if I can sort out and I can lose body fat, I will be in a much happier position. It isn't just that, guys. It's about having the whole package. And I went on a strict diet of eating no food. I mean, you don't get more strict than that. And just training all the time. But if you can have some kind of plan in place, it's going to definitely help educate you. And that's why I got into personal trainings, because I made all the mistakes that people make in terms of if they want to lose body fat quickly. I've had eating disorders. I've had mental health issues in terms of my confidence and my self-esteem, and my body weight affected that massively, but also my kind of lifestyle affected that massively. And I made it to a football team, to a professional football team, and I was professional for a little while, and I was still underweight in terms of where you should be in terms of an athlete. Yes, I wasn't playing at the highest level in the world, but I was playing at a level that, you know what, it was a stepping stone towards what I wanted to achieve. Now, the thing with football, guys, if you're not quite good enough, you get cut by the wayside quite quickly. And that happened to me fairly quickly because I wasn't quite good enough, and I can accept that, that's fine. But when I left my football team, again, I still had a terrible relationship with food, and I hadn't learned anything from the training I was doing with the football team. Yes, I'd improved. My nutrition had improved quite a lot. I was training better, more structured, but still nowhere near where I needed to be because I hadn't been given that guidance again. And these are the mistakes that I don't want my clients to make now, which is why I'm touching upon it again. I got into personal training to help people not make these mistakes. So from there, I went and did a bit of traveling abroad, went to America, did some work over there for 12, 18 months, came back, and I was like, right, I need to make a career or something. I was flitting it in and out of factory jobs, and that wasn't what I wanted to do. I was spending a lot of time on my own thoughts, and I was like, right, what can I actually do? So I was like, I know a decent amount about nutrition now because I've been through certain elements of it that didn't work for me, and I've learned from that and progressed to a certain level. Obviously, I had still had to progress a long way in terms of my knowledge and things like that, but I was at a point where I was like, right, I feel I can help people. So I enrolled on a personal training course, spent a lot of money to get onto a personal training course. If you've done one before or looked into it, you know they're not cheap, and spent all my money on that and threw myself into this course and qualified through the course, loved it, got even more educated, learned how to do one-to-one training actually within the course, which not many courses do. So that got me ready to jump straight onto the gym floor, and then qualified from there, and then started up Zenith Fit, and then it's kind of grown from there. And I've invested in myself, in my knowledge, in my own health and fitness throughout those years to improve my own nutrition, because still at that point I was 24, something like that, and I still hadn't got a great relationship with food. And I've been implementing different strategies over the course of the last 7-8 years, and I've only recently got to a point where I'm like, yes, I know how to do this, I feel comfortable with it, I'm confident with it, and that is the place I was searching for the last 20 years pretty much. You know, I'm 33 years old now, and the last 20 years has taken me that long to finally get into a position that I know exactly what I'm doing. And the thing is, guys, I know a lot of people have been doing this throughout the whole of their life, and they've been going up and down with diets, they've been starving themselves, they've been trying keto diets, they've exercised 7 days a week, they've been doing all sorts of different classes. Nothing's quite worked for them. And I feel confident enough now, I'm in a position where I can say I can help you out. If you're going through that right now, I can 100% help you out, because I've done a lot of it. I've had the eating disorders, like I said, the mental health issues, like I've said, and I've learned a lot and got to a point where I'm very comfortable, very happy with my training, with my nutrition. And that's where I want you to get. That's where I want my clients to get. I want them to have a perfect, not quite a perfect, we can't actually get a perfect relationship with food, but an extremely good relationship with food where you're not yo-yo dieting, where you can eat things that you would normally consider bad and you can still consciously have them and not worry about it. And that's where every single one I train, every single person I train, that's the goal, to get them to a position where they are much better, they are having a much better relationship with their food. I want to get them to a position where they enjoy their exercise. They know they don't have to train every single day. They need rest, they need sleep, they need to recover, they need to recuperate, and just get that overall balance, because that overall balance is going to help improve, like I've touched upon at the start of this video, your confidence, your self-esteem is going to rise dramatically. You're going to feel so much better in your clothing, you're going to feel so much better in yourself, more confident. I've just said that, but the confidence one is the huge one for me, and I've managed to change my life and change my mindset and change my body and physique through exercise and nutrition, and it's just changed me into a different person, guys. And I want to do that for every single person without them having to make the mistakes that I made. So that's kind of what my personal training model is based around, helping people learn from the mistakes that I've made without them having any problems with it whatsoever, and educating them for the rest of their life. That's the plan. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about Zenith Fit. I'll say a little bit, that's 10 minutes long, that video, but that's a bit about me, a bit about Zenith Fit. Hopefully this has helped let you know a little bit about what I do, where I come from, and why I actually do it. And if I can help you out, guys, drop me a message. I would love to be able to help you out and get you to a point where you're feeling confident, comfortable, don't have to yo-yo diet, and you can actually live a sustainable, happy life where you just feel fantastic. You can play with the grandkids, you can play with the kids, you can walk up hills for fun, you know, all sorts. Contact me if you need my help. I'd love to speak to you. See you soon.